Hello, everyone. Violet here, and today we have a special guest on our channel. This is Alyson, Priestess of Wonderland, who happens to be one of my closest friends on the internet. So I'm so happy to
Oh,
have you here.
yeah. This is really fun. It's like work, but not really.
Yeah, we can just hang out. So we're gonna do a bit of an interview with Alyson, and I hope that you all enjoy. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna put all of the links to Alyson's stuff down below in the description, so you can check that out right now, right off the bat. But we'll also be getting into what she offers, and yay! So, Alyson, um, so let's start with your name. Let's talk about Wonderland. What are your influences and inspirations? Like, how do you relate to Wonderland?
Well, it's kind of a long story, and I'll try to condense it into something really small. I mean, I think most people, or a lot of people relate to the Alice in Wonderland story.
Oh yeah.
It's always been this like underlying theme throughout my entire life, and the idea when I started my massage business was that because my massage business is also Wonderland,
Mm.
mobile massage. And the idea is that like we all have this like internal space that we can like retreat to heal and rejuvenate. And I hope that like my massages are creating this space so that you
Mm.
can just kind of escape and relax, even if it's just for an hour, and then you can step back into your life and hopefully find more peace and flow to it.
Nice.
Um, but it kind of morphed and transformed to Priestess of Wonderland
Mm.
because in just on my own healing journey, it wasn't just about the escape of like retreating somewhere. It became like I'm capable of creating my own world,
Mm.
and I like learning to be my own mother and to take care of myself, and that just became like I can be the ruler of my world. Like I can be the priestess of my world. So that's what I hope that I'm like encouraging other people to do is to take their life into their own hands, take their healing into their own hands,
Mm.
and create it. Create the life that you want. That's my hope and intention.
That's so beautiful. That's so exciting. It feels to me too like because I know you also do a lot of creative work that sort of space, that wonderland, that like imaginative realm could also kind of like include your creativity as well. Is that, would
Mm.
you feel that?
I have tried to write a whole like fantasy fiction about this place, like
Ooh.
and imagining like what would that look like and who lived there and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But really it's kind of mostly in my imagination.
Amazing. That's so cool. So how would you describe like your personal spiritual practice, your craft, and maybe how does Wonderland interweave into that? Or
I think when we find this liminal space like within us that it just connects you more to your intuition,
mm-hmm.
and I try to let my intuition lead my practice. Like I know that we get so distracted with all the beautiful things that we see everybody else doing,
Mm-hmm.
but you can use that as a guideline and like a resource, but it all comes down to like what works for you and what you're drawn to. And my practice has evolved just intuitively over the years. And whenever I try to mimic what other people are doing, it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel right. So, um, creating your own world and creating your own practice is kind of the same thing. I try to keep
Mm-hmm.
it like that.
That's awesome. When did you start? Like, what inspired you along this path?
I've just always been interested in nature and um, trying to find that like sense of wonder. Like we're so separated from it now
Mm.
as adults, and keep trying to go and part of like doing um, inner child work. Um, I want to not only just make sure that that little child is safe and protected, but I want to bring that sense of like awe and magic back to life because I mean, most people just don't even, they get in their car, they go to work and they come home and they don't even see that like the grass in their yard has more than just grass. There's dandelions and violets
Yeah.
and the trees they're there. They're there. Like we don't even look at them and the sky and the stars and we're so disconnected from it.
Oh, that's so
I know
true.
it it's sad and like when I go dig in the garden, I have this fear because of this one time I like was pulling mulch out of the garden and a snake was hanging there. And
Oh my.
so now every time I go to that space in the garden, I'm scared. Like I'm scared of nature. We have this fear of it, and we should have a natural fear of it, but it prevents us from actually being like, whoa, snakes are pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
wow. And I feel like
Yeah.
we lose that so much because of fear and because we have this disconnect.
You're so
I don't know.
right. It's been interesting watching. I've got a toddler for anyone who's watching who doesn't know. But
Yeah.
watching him like discover the world and not having that same fear surrounding certain things, like seeing a spider in the house and
Yeah.
just like being so um, amazed by it. And yeah, it is so hard to lose, like to keep the magic when you're in just living the mundane life.
Yeah.
And I find myself also like in that place where I'm like, wow, I've lost. I'm not looking around me. I'm not like smelling the air. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I don't know
definitely.
if I really answered the question.
Oh no, you're
I'm
good. Yeah. When did you
I'm
start?
always just trying to come back to that wonder and that just like awe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what- So I guess that's kind of what leads my practice is
Hmm.
like just trying to find that, being happy with the exploration and not the end game, I guess.
Yeah. So do you think? Because I sense such a there's almost like a childlike wonder within what you're describing. Like, does your practice you think have its roots all the way back to childhood, or like what were you interested in as a child?
Well, I have this one, um, where is it? I have this one photograph of me swinging on a swing that my dad took. He kind of like snuck up on me and was peering through some fall leaves. And I just always, I actually like that for whatever reason, that picture came up when I was first attuned to Reiki. Like it came up
Mm.
while I was getting my attunement and I was like, weird, like totally forgot about the picture. And now I have that picture as kind of like my guiding light of like how do I the joy on her face and just hanging out on a fall day, just
Yeah.
like swinging on your swing, like I just have that picture. I have a couple copies of it and I carry it with me and I'm just always like, I want to go back to that happiness. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know. Yeah, so a lot of it is that like inner child joy, just pure joy and not having a care in the world.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds nice. I love that. How does this translate into like a day to day sort of or week to week? I know you follow the moon a lot in your work, but how does it translate into like your day to day rituals or routines or personal sacred practices?
Um, I think for me, a lot of it is just letting go. Like
Mm.
day to day, I try to start my day fresh and clean, just like you would on a new moon. Um, And then at the end of the day, I try to put it all down. Like we carry so much with us throughout the day, like, oh, this happened at work, or like I need to meet this deadline, and we like carry it all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think prevents us from seeing the joy and the wonder and the things that we're not paying attention to. So I just try to let it go. Like put it down. It's gonna be
Yeah.
there tomorrow. It's gonna be there whenever you need to pick it back up again. And it's just like let go of everything else and be where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So my daily practice, at least in the morning and evening, and I try to do that throughout the day whenever I'm feeling anxious or stressed, I'm like put it down. Like just take
Mm-hmm.
one thing at a time. Don't take everything all at once.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like it's always there then in like an ongoing practice. That's
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've heard you talk about like aligning, since I mentioned the moon, like looking at the element of the sign that the moon is in, and maybe
Hmm.
even like forming your life around that in some ways. Like a fire day might look different than a water day and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely.
That's really inspiring to me. Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe we can talk a
Um,
bit about that.
well, that's why following the moon, I love following the moon so much is because you have 2.5 days in one sign.
Mm-hmm.
And like for example, on water days and Scorpio days, I tend to be more emotional. And when we start paying attention to this, it's like, okay, but it's only 2.5 days. So let yourself be emotional for 2.5 days because tomorrow we're going to be in another sign with a different energy and
Mm.
you can connect to that. So just, and that also teaches you to just experience your emotions too. Just if you're sad, let yourself be sad. Don't stuff it down because it's
Yeah.
just going to explode eventually. So, and 2.5 days isn't very long. Like, and by the time you notice that you're in a water day, you're probably about to transition into another one. So,
That's so true. What day is today? I didn't look.
Aquarius today.
Aquarius. Hey, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Capricorn was kind of kicking my butt yesterday a little bit, but
Really? What was it like?
I couldn't I felt I just couldn't focus and I couldn't get anything done and I like to get things done on Capricorn days.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so eventually I just gave up, but then at like 11 o'clock at night I was like, I'm gonna reorganize my desk. That
Amazing.
way tomorrow that way tomorrow I can start fresh and it like air gives you that freshness. So
Nice.
yeah, so now we're here in Aquarius and now I'm like, cool, my desk is all organized. Thanks, Capricorn.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I'm a Capricorn and I have so much Capricorn in my chart. And it's funny because I can get into those modes of being ultra productive, but it's always me actually avoiding whatever it is that the Virgo me put on a list to do. The
Right.
Virgo rising me put it on a list to do. And then in the moment I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. I will be, distracting myself or procrastinating or something, but in a very productive way in this other direction,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is kind of funny.
That's funny because Capricorn really wants to achieve and accomplish things. So it's like you are doing everything except check something
Oh
off.
yeah, oh yeah. And maybe there's some other like placements that explain that, but it's a constant pattern. It's always how I operate. Um, so are there parts of your practice that you keep separate? Because I know that you are, very much sharing a lot of what you do online, which we'll talk about. But are there parts that you keep just for yourself? Um,
Um, yeah. In a couple of different ways. I mean, one is that like when we're putting this out there in the world as like a job, um, you kind of lose like what it is that you're like trying to work on because you're presenting it and it's
mm,
not like as intuitive. And also like sometimes like I mean I'm you usually film things before the actual date, so it's like I'm a couple days before the new moon is when I'm actually like looking at my new moon stuff and it just
yeah.
so then on the actual new moon is like when I do my actual personal stuff. Um
Mm.
but also I've noticed, and I'm wondering if you have noticed this too. Um, I don't really like putting like really intimate details or like exact recipes or like exact
Mm.
formulas because I like if somebody is judging you out there in the internet, I feel like it muddles and dims that intention.
Yeah.
And I notice it a lot reading for people. Like I can tell when someone's sitting there, like, let's see if she's really good at tarot, or I don't believe in this, but let's
Mm.
try it out. And I feel like I can feel when they're not interested or open,
Oh yeah.
and like it dims the magic. Like if you are sitting there, oh, this isn't going to work, I don't believe in this, then you're not going to get anything out of it
Mhm.
if you're open to receiving it. So in the same way as like if somebody's out there judging my manifestation spell or something, I feel like it doesn't work as well because
Yeah.
the energy's there.
No, absolutely. And I think what is it? I know that there's like the rules of being a witch or something, and one of them is to keep silent. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like there's a
Yeah, that's a
magic. Yeah, I'm trying to place where that's from. It's like
yeah.
mom brain. I don't remember, but um, this idea of like there's magic in. It doesn't have to be total secrecy, but maybe like an element
Mhm.
of privacy or secrecy in something. I think that yeah.
Yeah. Just keeping it like so that there's at least part of it that is like intimate and personal and has your energy, 100% of your
Mm-hmm.
energy in it because like magic is focusing energy and like let's take all of these energies and put it into this thing and hope that something blossoms out of it. And if you're putting all of your stuff in here and then somebody else's doubt is going in there too, it's just ruining.
For sure. And I mean, there's such a different energy. Like if you approached your own tarot deck and you were like, I'm going to test you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I know the answer. I'm gonna test you, and it's like it's not gonna work the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
then there's those times where you're like, you pick a card and you're like, no, let me put it back in. And then it comes out again.
oh my gosh, yes, it's so crazy. That's so funny. Um, yeah, I'm curious about. I want to hear about your journey from like taking your in person work and like where that took you, and then deciding to bring it online a bit. But I'm also curious if like you found that you need some extra protection since we're talking about it, like doing work online and how it's exposed to so many people and so many people's opinions. Like, um, do you feel like you've had to have a different kind of protection around it, or more protection than doing in person energy work?
Well, honestly, when I first started doing online work and distance work at the beginning of the pandemic, I thought, well, hey, now I can fit more in a day because I don't have travel time and now I can do more. But it turns out I can't. It takes just as much energy to do distance healing than it does in person, like just as much.
Oh yeah.
Um, that's yeah. So, I mean that I don't know why that was surprising to me, but it was. I was just like, yeah, I can cram more in a day.
Mm-hmm,
Cool.
mm-hmm.
But no, you need as much rejuvenation time and letting go of that person's energy. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Crazy, but it is. Um, One thing that I have noticed about protection wise, um, is that it's just made me be more diligent, whereas maybe sometimes in person work, I'm like rushing to get to that appointment and I might not do my
Mm.
energetic protections, whereas online, because there's so many people energy coming at you all at once,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I have to be diligent. So it's taught me to every time I do any kind of work is to put up those boundaries, put up those protections, and if anything, it's made me more diligent. It's just as important as in-person
Yeah.
work. I have noticed, however, with the Saturn Pisces shift,
Oh yeah.
um, smoke cleansing isn't as powerful anymore for me, and I've moved
Interesting.
to water. So I have like little herbal sprays that I'm using
Mm.
instead of lighting incense. It just feels more powerful.
Wow. I hadn't made this connection, but just maybe a few weeks ago, I also started moving from doing like smoke cleansing because I used to do that a lot whenever I sat to meditate or sat to like before I streamed and stuff like that. To taking longer baths and like really taking that seriously and thinking like, okay, I'm going to cleanse my energy in the bath. I did not connect that. That's so funny. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I also really connect with water, so
Mm.
I'm kind of like, why have I not done this before? Was it just because of that Saturn boundary air in Aquarius that smoke was just so much better and now it's water? Um,
Mm. And that's so interesting too because in a way it's like setting a boundary like this is my energy versus this is not mine by
mm,
cleansing like you're creating that and wow that's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm learning from you. Yeah, that's amazing. I'll have to pull out my sprays then.
Yeah.
Use some of those. That's really cool. So what is the work that you do in person and when did you start doing that?
I have been a massage therapist for 12 years now, and about 6 years ago, which is crazy, when I first started, I mean, I was always working at spas or salons or that sort of thing. And then I decided to make a transition. I don't even know what made me start to do it now that I think about it, but I do mobile massage, so I'm going to people's homes
Mm-hmm.
and giving massages versus renting a space or working at a place. Um,
Oh, quick plug. I loved your massage, like a day in the life of a massage therapist
oh,
video. Well, we'll have to
thank
link
you.
that. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah. Um, I'm sorry, I don't remember what the
No,
question
I
was.
totally interrupted you. I totally interrupted you. What are your offerings in person and like what was your journey
Oh, okay.
starting them or when did you start?
So in person, I do massage, in-home massage, and that also involves like crystal and energy work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I occasionally do tarot. I try to get people to do tarot, but it's really the online work that got me doing
Mm.
tarot. Um, and yeah, that's all I offer in person. Before the pandemic, I used to do like chair massages at office buildings,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to do a lot of like 5K races, sports massage, but I haven't really gotten back into like group events
Mm-hmm.
yet.
So was it that it was the pandemic that was the catalyst to like bring some of your work online?
Yeah, it's really strange. I remember, I think I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the day that everything shut down is like one of those things where everybody remembers where they were when that happened. You know, kind
Yeah.
of like 9/11, you remember
Yeah.
where you were. And I don't even know like what possessed me to go online, but there was just something that was like, I think I was watching the news and I heard people were struggling being like in their homes, like stuck in their
Mm.
homes. And I'm just like, my home is my sanctuary. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do people not want to be stuck at home? Like, wow. Um,
Yeah.
so the first thing I ever did was online was I made a crystal grid just for like healing for the for the collective, for everybody.
Mm.
And I have no idea why. I just went on Facebook Live and I just made this crystal grid and I talked about the crystals, and it was just like something pushed me to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
I that's what started it. Um, and then eventually I was like trying to get my massage clients to try distance healing work,
Mm-hmm.
which it's really hard to get people to believe in it if they've not experienced it. So that didn't really work, but then it led me to tarot.
Yeah, because you do Reiki, right?
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first experience with Reiki, I had no idea what it was. And it was something, I was part of this like artist event, and it was something that was just like an offering to the artists. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I don't know if this is a common experience or not, but the person did it for me, and I sort of didn't feel anything. And I was like, huh, that was interesting. And then I went home. It was like a few hours later, and I just cried. Like it was like this huge release just out of nowhere. I was just crying and crying. Like I felt all these things like leave me or like come up. And I was talking to one of my friends later, and she was like, "That's Reiki. That's what it does." I was like, "Wow." So,
Wow. So it was a public event.
mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
probably why you
Mm.
wouldn't let yourself release like in yeah.
Interesting. Like I had to wait till I was in private, maybe. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Were you doing? Did you do Reiki at office spaces too, or mostly
Um,
massage?
it was mostly massage,
Mm-hmm.
just chair massage. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, I started taking Reiki while I was in massage school
Mm-hmm.
because uh, in the beginning of massage school, I quickly learned that like, whoa, I'm really sensitive to other people's energy, and I thought that it would help me control that a little bit, like at least understand energy, which I guess
Mm-hmm.
it did, but it opened me up way more. So it was kind of like, wait, I was trying to like block this.
That's really
Um,
funny.
yeah,
But I guess just naturally you attune to other people's energy, so maybe that's why like you're naturally a healer in that way as well. I could see
um,
that.
it's funny. Like 12 years later, I'm now finally going to get my Reiki masters. Um,
Nice.
And it's Reiki's just one of those things that I think works when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that like it didn't work for you until you went home.
Mm.
Like just making the decision to finally take the Reiki masters, it's like my whole life is shifting, my whole energy is shifting, and I haven't even taken the class yet. Like,
Wow. Oh, that's so
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Nice. And you're an herbalist as well, right?
Yeah, so that was the first thing or the first like metaphysical journey um that I mean, I really thought that I was gonna like every time I find something, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna be an herbalist for the rest of my life.
Mm.
And then it was like, okay, no, you're not. You're gonna be a massage therapist. And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna be a massage therapist for the rest of my life. And then it's like, no, you're not. And now it's like, what am I doing? Okay, so now I'm a streamer. Like everything's a stepping stone.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
herbalism was the first, and it um it's weird that while I was in massage or while I was in herb school, one of my closest friends and classmates was a massage therapist, and it never even like crossed my mind to be a massage therapist. Never, ever, ever. And even it was like 3 years after I graduated herb school that I eventually took massage classes and never really had the intention to be a massage therapist. It was just like I wanted to finish my associate's degree and I wanted to like have this nice little package of like I'm an herbalist. I don't know. Like it was another one of those things that just like pushed me and it led to something so much more than I ever thought it was. But in herb school, working with clients, everybody's ailment, problem, disease, whatever they were seeking an herbalist for, came down to stress.
Mm.
And it was like back then it was like people just wanted like give me an herb and it's going to fix all my problems.
Mm.
And it doesn't work like that. You have to change your lifestyle. You have to do all these other things. You have to reduce your stress. So
Yeah.
it was like massage was like, how can I help people reduce stress? I can give them a calming tea, but like that's only going to have an effect for an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Massage is accumulative and lasts longer and actually forces you to like take an hour out of your life and
Mm.
pause
Mhm.
button for 1 hour.
Mhm. That's so needed. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That's really beautiful. So what are some of the things that you offer online?
Tarot. I do offer distance healing. So
Yeah.
like massage being accumulative and something that needs to happen on a regular basis, I also feel like we need to connect to spirit on a regular basis. So I feel like the Ko-fi memberships that I offer, there's like a variety of them. It can
Mm-hmm.
be once a week, once a month, whatever like works for you and your budget. And I think that consistency helps both of us because it's a discounted price than just getting a one-off reading.
Mm.
And
Because there's a commitment
then,
to it.
right,
Yeah.
and you're consistent. So, I mean, I think that's the best way to get benefits. And I do have
Mm.
distance healing as part of a membership on there too.
Nice.
So it's either tarot readings or distance healing or both. Um, I also offer a candle subscription
Mm-hmm.
box, which is I think that I mean lighting a candle takes 1 second, right? So I like things that are quick and easy and do it every day. It doesn't take a lot of time because that's our excuse. We're like, I don't have time to do that. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
time to meditate. You can light a candle.
Yeah, it's just
And
it's that spark of um intention. Like that alone is so powerful. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, so that again is monthly and helps you stay consistent. And then when you need daily support, there's the Just a Phase Moon Planner
Yes.
that,
I love
I mean,
it.
I guess that's work on you to actually like use it and focus and write in it. But it's there whenever you can pick it up whenever you feel connected, and it's always there for an entire year.
That's so amazing. Yeah, I can't speak highly enough on this planner. I've talked about it on this channel. Like, we've flipped through. I guess so. I've had it for 2 years in a row, right? I think so. Thinking of when we met. Ever since we met, I was like, I'm getting this planner. So is this your how many iterations of the planner have you done?
Um, I've I've had four,
Mm-hmm.
but the first one was a 6 month planner. So 2021 was two
Mm.
sections planners, and then 2022, and then now 2023.
Okay, cool. I think I came in for the 2022 one. I think we met at
Mm,
the end of 2021. That makes sense.
That's crazy that it's been that long
I
since we've known each
know,
other.
right? Yeah, well, we met through Twitch. So, what's been your experience with streaming on Twitch and offering readings? And I've also seen you do where you like have crystals and you're doing like energy healing and work like that.
Well, that's something that I've kind of branched out with a little bit, just to
Mm-hmm.
give people a little taste of opening themselves up to energy healing.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing that at the end of streams if we meet our sub goal, just a little mini chakra clearing just to kind of close out the night.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I love Twitch. It's very community based,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been so fortunate to meet so many people like you that I really make strong connections with. Again, just
Yeah.
like energy work. It's like you can form really strong relationship bonds online and not in person.
Hmm.
So that's been really, really great because I think a lot of us kind of feel like outcasts or weird and like the black sheep, and maybe they're the only, like, I don't have people in my real life that I can talk to about these things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be able to have that network to find people.
Yeah, a place where we can
Yeah.
gather. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also you stream along with the planner as well. So like if someone gets your planner, they can come and join you and do plan with me's and talk about it with you live on stream too, which is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I planning, it seems silly and I don't know, maybe dorky, but it like I feel like the planner is like a book of shadows. And
Hmm.
like if I put something on my calendar and have the intention to complete it, then it happens. It's like
Yeah.
it's a form of magic on its own. And when I first started planning, just decorating and putting stickers on just helps make your week feel better. Feel like
Yeah.
when you make your spread look beautiful, it makes you more inclined to have a beautiful week.
I feel that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like it could almost be like a little vision board in some ways too. Like thinking.
Exactly.
And what I love about your planner too is that you can look at it and already see, okay, what's the energy of this week? Like, where's the moon going to be? What signs? Which days are which? And I know since you were talking about how you plan your days ahead of time with the moon sometimes as well, like certain tasks. It just seems like the perfect tool to integrate that into your life. So I really appreciate
Yeah,
that about the planner.
thank you. I'm always overjoyed to hear feedback from it because we don't always get that much feedback. So I I mean, I just really it's helped me so much, and I just want other people to figure that out, especially sensitive people, because like I was really like when I was mood tracking and forcing myself to do taxes on a Scorpio day and having it just
Mm.
be this total mess and frustrating and not even completing the thing that you need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And then planning to do that on a Capricorn day instead, it's like saved me so much anxiety and stress just trying to get regular mundane things done.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. And you also have activities in it that go along with each like holiday and the different moon cycles as well.
Yeah, I love a good activity. I know that seems silly too, but I don't know, it just like gets you, even if you're not doing some big ceremony and some ritual, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna fill out this journaling question. You're
Hmm.
still tapping in and you're still connecting. And if that's all you do, then that's all you do.
Oh,
You can still do
absolutely.
a big ritual and a big ceremony, but I think just checking in with yourself, writing it down on a piece of paper is just as magical as doing some big ceremony or
I love
ritual.
that. I so agree. I so agree. And sometimes it's even more connected than if you were like doing some huge thing with all these different elements or, versus like, oh, I'm sitting here with this coloring page and I'm just going to be like present with this.
Yeah, because sometimes those big ceremonies get overwhelmed and stressful, and then you're putting stress and anxiety into your magic.
Yeah, totally. So I was gonna mention also that you do streams like that as well, like coloring streams or like listening to
Mhm.
an audiobook or even gatherings like not even on like the super public streams but within your Discord, right? So you've really like you've built a community and a flow around these things that really work for you. And what's that experience been like creating community online and finding points in which to connect to people? What's it been
Well,
like?
I could say the same thing about your community.
Oh,
Like your
thanks.
community is so inspiring because I feel like you are really like lifting people up and encouraging them to explore their creativity
Hmm.
with writing and art and planning and tarot. Like you really, I feel like you are really like trying to like, let's do this together.
Oh, thank you.
Not not necessarily like this is how you do it. This is like let's do this together. Let's
Hmm.
figure this out. And honestly, with my community, it feels just like so like I feel so lucky to have all of the people in my community and
Hmm.
really it helps make work feel like not work at all. Like I'm just like I'm watching a movie right now. I'm coloring right now.
It's
This is
so
so silly
fun.
and fun and I love it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, whenever I've come to your moon meetings on Discord, they're so nourishing. It's sometimes, because sometimes, and I'm sure you experience this too, like being a facilitator, sometimes like going to like to another person's space and being able to just like relax and be a part of those vibes, like it's very needed. Every time I come, I'm like, I need to come every single time. So I love your spaces that you create.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because being a facilitator is wonderful, but a lot of times you lose your own personal practice and because you're leading or delegating or hosting or
Hmm.
so yeah, that's a really important thing to be able to find spaces that and that's how I feel like with your community too, because like whenever I go into your streams, like I'm there for your content. I appreciate your content. I love your
Thank
content.
you.
And I'm just like I don't need a shout out. I don't want a shout out. I'm here for you and your vibes and I love it. And I'm not here to like self-promote or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, but I can't help it because
I
I love
know.
your spaces too. But it's great because I do. I feel like we have so many interests in common. It's been so incredible, like
Yeah.
meeting each other, and yeah, I'm just so grateful. Um, so you're coming on over to. You've been on YouTube doing like amazing videos and like weekly moon updates and stuff for a while. But you're starting to stream on YouTube now. How's that? What are your plans?
Well, I haven't done it yet. But
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've seen more
yeah.
of the relaxing, like
Well, yeah.
the streams. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I just like Twitch is wonderful and I love that small community feel,
Hmm.
but w YouTube's huge and we want to reach as many people as we can. So
Totally.
that's what I'm hoping to reach more people.
Nice. What are your plans for the YouTube streams?
I'm hoping that they can have the same sort of community chill vibes like the Twitch ones do.
Hmm.
Um, because I mean, I think that space needs community too.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be this big grand production. I hope that it can still feel like hey, I can come here and heal and get a reading or not and but still get something from it.
Yeah.
Because so many like even if you're doing an individual reading, like so many people can relate to that information
Hmm.
and that wisdom that's coming through. And I mean, I get that from your streams too. I get it from a lot of the tarot creator streams. It's like
Yeah.
I'm not getting a reading, but I'm hearing that message. And
Yeah. Oh, that happens to me all the time too.
yeah.
I
So
love
I'm
that.
hoping to put more of that out there with YouTube. Yeah.
Nice. That's so exciting. Cool. Do you have a start day like in mind yet? It's okay
No,
if you don't, or you don't want to say it
um,
yet.
I would like to say the new moon, but
Mm.
it's also an eclipse and a Mercury retrograde, so I think
Ah.
I'm just not gonna make any plans and just do it.
Okay, sounds
I'll
good.
jump, I'll jump in one day.
So on that note, a reminder to hit the notification bell on Allison's channel, which we
Right.
will have linked. But we want to like get notified when it happens.
Right.
That's so exciting! Oh my goodness! Yay! I agree with you though. Like I love the community aspect of Twitch. It's
Mhm.
like I think I needed that too. Like going into this work, finding people who are also doing it, people like you, being able to connect like that. And there is this sort of smaller, like tighter knit community there. So I think bringing some of that energy into YouTube, because a lot of people don't even know what Twitch is. It's so
I
funny.
know.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the planner community or the people that have the planner aren't interested in Twitch. And so I feel like they're missing out on a lot of the things that I do on Twitch just because they're
Mm.
like, Twitch is for video games. I don't play video games like
Hmm.
ever. Um,
That's so funny. Yeah.
like everybody has YouTube.
Everyone
Everybody.
watches YouTube, isn't it? It's something like the second or third most used search engine or something like that.
Mm.
I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really excited for your journey with it.
Oh, thank you.
It's
It's
great.
been so great watching your journey too. I'm just
Thank
like,
you.
yeah, she's doing it. I feel like your little cheerleader. It's just like
Thank you.
everything that you put out there, I'm like, yes.
I appreciate it. I need a cheerleader. So I'm always like, I don't know. I'll be like really, I'll have waves of like crippling self doubt, and then like have to like climb out of that and come back.
I know.
It's like it's got to be just part of the content creator journey, though. I imagine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I what I see you doing though is like whenever you pivot or switch anything, it's because you've really done the work and connected to your
Mm,
intuition and found the direction that you're like meant to go in. And I
thank
see that
you.
happening with you. And it's like there's a lot of creators out there that are doing the witchy thing because it's trendy. Like
Mm,
you are presenting to us what you've experienced and on your journey. And I see that with your YouTube path of like she's pivoting because she's Spirit told her to. She intuited that she was supposed to make this change or switch or like you're doing it.
thank you. And you are too. No,
I'm trying.
that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to hear outside perspectives too, because I'm often just like, so I'm sure you're the same way, like kind of just like in our own heads having to
Mm.
figure things out moment by moment, and life keeps changing for me
Mhm.
too, like so then adjusting to these new like shifts in life. It's been really interesting, quite a ride, but a good one.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I feel like the creator space is like there's like this blueprint that you're supposed to follow and you're supposed to upload every day and it's just like that's not possible. It's
Yeah.
not get producing things on a level that feels sustainable for you is so important and I
Hmm.
see that you're doing that.
Thank you. um, so I was curious too about I hope this isn't too much of like a jump into another question, but I'm curious, what are your signs and how do you feel, like what are your top three, or what are the ones that are in like that influence you as you're doing this work, you think?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Well, my signs are I'm a Leo sun,
Mm.
Aquarius moon, and a Pisces rising.
Oh.
And you're gonna have to ask me the last question again.
Yeah, like
Correct me if I'm
how
wrong.
does that, like how do they, because when you say that, I automatically like think of ways that this could like be affecting, how you go towards your work, your business, and like presenting yourself online. But like, how do you personally um feel like your personal energy, however that translates, if it's through your signs, like brings you to this work? Or um now I'm making this a really long question. I don't mean for it to be that complex. How do you feel like
I
your signs affect what you do? How about that?
well, I like I have the belief that like we came here with a purpose and an intention and a contract and like that includes like our birth chart. Like
Mm-hmm.
I believe that our soul chose the all of these little ingredients And sometimes I laugh about it because I can see, like, I could see why somebody would be like, yeah, a Leo sun is going to like put themselves out there and be dramatic, and Aquarius is gonna like have concern for humanity, and
Hmm.
Pisces is gonna have that intuition and that emotional side of it. But sometimes it just feels like this big mess. But like I laugh about it because I'm just like, I see what my soul was intending, but I'm like, I don't think you really remember what it's like being down here because this is just a hot mess. Like this is just like it's a fire that is fueled by air, which is just like an overgrowing fire. And
Mm.
then I feel like I pour a bucket of water in it with the Pisces energy, and I'm just like this muddy, ashy mess is what I feel like most of the time.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure it feels that way. You don't come across that way at all. But I totally get that. Oh man. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. That's so cool.
I think the Leo helped me put myself out there online, which is
Yeah.
something I never ever dreamed I would ever do because I've always been a very shy, closed off person. Like as
Hmm.
a child, I was terrified of people and public speaking and like terrified.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm doing this now is like, what?
That's
That's why I feel
amazing.
like that's why I feel like your sun sign is something that you grow into because
Mm.
I did not have that back then.
Mm. Yeah. That's amazing. And I wonder too if it's the purpose behind it. Like you're being fueled by your purpose to, heal people, to make a difference, to share, share your intuitions, and since that is so strong, it like allows you to step into that sun place versus I don't know, I'm imagining at school like uh, if the purpose behind it isn't as strong, doing something that might feel kind of uncomfortable is much more challenging.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because like doing a report on whatever the French
Yeah.
Revolution or something wasn't that interesting, but because
Yeah.
I've found the thing that I'm passionate about, I feel more comfortable doing it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
I also feel like younger me was feeling everybody's else's emotions at the same time and didn't know like it was just too much. Like I
Hmm.
was feeling everybody's nervous energy before they did their report
Oh
on top
yeah,
of mine.
I bet.
And, and now I'm like, okay, that's their energy over there. This is mine. We're doing it.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So what are some things we wouldn't necessarily know about you that you'd want to share, like outside interests or like fun facts, anything like that?
Um, I don't know. I think being shy is probably one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess more so for like somebody who knew me back then, if they ever saw me online, they'd be like, "What?" Um, I don't know. I'm a cat mom. I think that's kind of obvious.
Nice. How many cats
I
do you have?
don't, three.
Three. Nice.
I don't know. It's hard to think of stuff off the top of
No,
my head.
I apologize. I realized like, oh, that's kind of a challenging question. But
Mhm.
do any of your cats feel like in that more familiar territory? Like, do any cats? I know cats are really attracted to energy work. So, do you have any experiences like that with your cats?
As far as them like being involved in any of the magic I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
no. But I've always felt like they're more kind of like spirit guides or guardian angels or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think they come into your life when you need it. And I think my weird soul up there was like, let's just send her cats. Let's keep sending her cats.
I love it. That's great. Do you have any advice, either for, or maybe both, for your younger self Or for someone who's kind of like a baby witch or just kind of opening up to this kind of thing, do you have any advice for either or
Um,
both of those?
Actually, yeah, I think it would be the same for both of
Mm-hmm.
like I used to like try to read every book and take every class and I would try to follow the recipe exactly
Mm.
or like I wish because that and I would beat myself up if I didn't do it right or if I couldn't afford the ingredient or if I didn't have the time and it's just like stop. Just do whatever feels right for you. Work with the herbs you have in your cabinet,
Mm-hmm.
even if that's just the Italian seasoning from the grocery store. You can still use those things. Sti- Um, don't follow somebody else's thing to the T because they made it for them. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
work for them. Find what works for you. Still read the books and everything, but like make your own magic.
Yeah, which kind of circles back to the very beginning of like creating your own world. And
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah.
I love that. So, where can we find your work?
So mostly you can find everything on YouTube at Priestess of Wonderland YouTube channel, and Twitch is the same name. Um, my Instagram is where it gets a little bit different. I do have a Instagram Priestess of Wonderland, and I have an Instagram for the planner. I'm really bad about being consistent with those. I try, but I'm on there. You can find me. But
Nice.
the best way is YouTube or Twitch, I would say.
Okay, cool. And on Kofi, what could we break down what your membership options are so that people know what they
Um,
are and how to find you there?
yeah, okay, so we have a base membership which is $3 a month and it gets you exclusive content and that is basically around the same amount that we get back from Twitch, so I just try to have that be the same. Um, and then the next tier up is uh, a a postcard from Wonderland that I send out sporadically, so like in the snail mail, in the real mail. And that gets you a weekly card as well, um, every Monday. And then the next tier up is a monthly tarot reading
Mm.
on top of all of the other things. And then the next one up is two readings a month, so like a bi-weekly kind of thing. And then the next one up is a monthly reading plus one energy healing session a month. I
Nice.
think that's it.
And where would we go? Thanks for like breaking it down. Where would we go for your candle subscription or other crafts you make?
Cool. Priestessofwonderland.com. That's
Okay,
where all of my
cool.
stuff.
It will have all of this linked down below as well, but I think it's also good to talk about it. And in your planner, would you that's also on your website, right? Like it's all linked
Yeah,
there.
there's a print on demand option, but you can get that link from my website. Yeah. And there's
Cool.
also a digital version too. So like, I mean, if you're worried about we're almost halfway through the year, if you're like, well, I don't want just half of a planner, get the digital version. It's cheaper and it's if you have an iPad or Good Notes or whatever, um it's really great online. Like you can still write in it and everything. It's
Nice.
cool.
And you still have some available for 2023 if someone wants that, right? Or you're doing print on demand, so it should be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
order
yeah,
it
yeah.
anytime. There is a coupon code for 20% off right now, so it's
Okay.
GoGo20 is
Like the number
that coupon.
20, go 20. Cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
I liked your suggestion once too. I remember you saying something like if you get a planner and there's some, parts that are like in the past that are just going to be blank to like cut it apart and use it as part of your like book of shadows or use it to collage or use it in your crafts, like different parts of it.
Yeah, because like in the beginning, there's all the information about the zodiacs and all the information about the moon phases, and
Mm-hmm.
the images are pretty. So, I mean, I like to cut them out and put them in my journal or use it for scrapbooking or whatever. And you can still do the journaling exercises and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. I have used past ones as a journal,
Mm,
but you're kind of writing over all of the dates and stuff. Or you could
sure.
use it as like a tarot, like a day, if you want to start doing daily tarot draws, you could,
Mm,
yeah, you can use it for lots of things, I think.
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and for having this discussion. It was so, so nice.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, I'll link everything below. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about before we go?
I think we talked about a lot. This was great. It's
Yay!
hard
I'm
to
so
talk
glad.
about yourself.
Oh my gosh, you did amazing, and I'm so excited to like be able to highlight what you're doing because I think it's so incredible. And I also want to say on Discord that you have incredible, like really tight knit community events on there, and that everyone should check that out as well.
I post a season event, so I schedule everything by season. So
Hmm.
like right now we're in Aries season. Eventually I'll post the Taurus season. So like it's just one image with all of the things that are happening that month.
Oh, cool!
So yeah, I do that
The
once
train went
once
by.
once a month, but it's by season, so it's like it'll come out on April 20th this month. But I just have one event thing so you know what's happening this month and or what's coming up. So yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love your community. I love everything that you're doing so much.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
thank you so much again. And you all, please check out all of the links down below. And we'll see you soon. Bye
Thank you.
bye.